Hey everyone, Laura here.
Tanya here.
We've been friends for over a decade and worked together for a long time in call centers as agents, quality analysts, managers, and supervisors.
In 2018, we started up this podcast to talk about the batshit bonkers bullshit we see and continue to see in our time at work and at home as consumers.
We also share your stories as both consumers and as employees.
So keep them coming to Q as in cucumber at yahoo.com.
We host the show anonymously and use aliases. In the stories we tell, we change names and identifying details of people, locations, and companies.
We also share your emails anonymously, so any similarities to real people, locations, or companies is purely coincidental.
So if you think we're talking about you, guilty conscience much?
Now on with the fun.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
You're always this stupid. It is you take lessons.
Just calm down.
Oh, fuck you!
You can't handle the truth.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
In other words, be nice, asshole.
So it's not that bad, but
Yeah.
last week was a fucking doozy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which is why we haven't recorded in a minute. So
Yeah.
welcome to another episode of Q is in Cucumber. I'm Laura Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
All right, so we are back. Something that we have not recorded since the killing of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And after that, the killing of Rayshard Brooks.
And then the outcry for Breonna.
The outcry for Breonna.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have not recorded since then, but since that all started, we got a bunch of emails where people were sending us either their experiences with racism or things that they've seen that have been racist for us to share on the show.
Well, we had an incident on my Facebook page with somebody that we used to work with
Uh-huh.
a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my God, I remember that. Holy fuck.
And I made a post on my Facebook page, and it ended up being like a whole thing. I ended up telling the bitch, I'll make you famous. Because she called my kids. It still really pisses me off, and I don't like saying these kind of words at all, but she called my kids colored.
Yes, she did.
And
In comments, and I was just like...
not once, but after I said that was super inappropriate, racist of you. What are we, 1953, and we can't sit at the lunch counter? How ignorant are you that you use that sort of language in this day and age? And you're a mother. What are you teaching your fucking kids? So it really blew up.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is Christina Moss. Look her up. Moss. Yeah, she had made a post and she took it down because I commented on it on her page and she put the N-word in there.
Oh my
And
God.
I said, as a white person, I don't like when anybody says that word.
No.
Anybody. I don't care what color you are, but as a white person, you don't say that word.
Right.
And I screenshotted that shit. And when she called my kids that name, I put that shit right up there with the other comments that she had made. Not calling my children that once, but several times throughout different posts.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently all of my friends and everybody else getting on her ass
Oh, yeah.
about it did not sink into her head about you can't say that fucking word.
No.
You can't use that sort of language. You just can't. And it's frightening. It's very frightening. I have half black children. My son, I told y'all before, he's a big fucking dude.
Yes, he is.
And he's got apple doesn't fall far from the tree, apparently. Both my kids have mouths on them. And I have had to have a conversation with them when they leave the house every time lately to say,
Be
know
careful.
the rules. You know the rules. If you're driving, keep your hands on the steering wheel where they can see them. Yes, sir.
Yep.
No, sir. Look them directly in the face. No sudden movements. All this stuff that I have to keep telling my kids
Yep.
on top of the regular rules that they have to follow.
Right.
And it's super scary. I thought about something last year before Avery went to Arizona, his truck got stolen. And we had to go over onto the west side, like 2 o'clock in the morning. We had to go right then to go get it because he was leaving like 4 hours from there to go to Arizona for school.
Right.
So I get up, and mind you, I'm like bald, sick, all that shit. I get up, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, take him to get his car. The police were there, and they were like, yeah, here's your truck. We don't know what the hell. So we're like, okay. They've taken out the registration, all the wiring, all this stuff. So I was in front of him. And we were over close to like 21st Street, over by the west side.
Yeah.
And he got pulled over. Because he had no headlights. And the only thing that I could think was, holy shit.
Oh my God.
My black son
Yeah.
is in a truck with no lights. All the paperwork is missing. And it was reported stolen.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus, I hope those cops did their jobs and
Put in the system
that the owner has it back, and this is what was going on, and he has no paperwork, and they stripped the lights and everything else.
Right.
And they held him for like 30 to 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Asking him questions. I couldn't get out of the car. Nothing.
They wouldn't let you get out of the car?
Yeah, they were like, ma'am, you need to stay in your car. This doesn't involve you.
I'm his mother.
Me. I'm his mother. And I don't know what you people are going to do to my son. The whole time I'm sitting there just frantic, like crying, like, please let me know what's going on. I don't want y'all to,
It's terrifying.
It was absolutely terrifying. So as a mother, I get it. I got it before them. Then that really made me get it, because my son, if he had not known what his rules were, who could have ended up in jail, beat, or dead, and that's really,
it's scary.
Really scary. And then you have people who say stuff like, well, he's a good guy, but nothing would happen to him. You don't know.
That.
What was Philando Castro?
Philando Castillo.
Yeah, he was in his car with his girlfriend and the baby. Told them, I have a conceal and carry. My weapon is in the car. Kept his hands right where they could see him.
And they still
didn't make any sudden movements, and shot him in the fucking face.
And he got off, and that cop got off, and even got a settlement. I think it was like $40,000.
Yeah, because you killed somebody. So basically, you just got fucking paid to murder somebody.
Yep.
Some of these cops are no better than the criminals that they claim to be protecting us from.
Yeah.
Their job, it says right on the side of their fucking car, is protect and serve. If some of these police did a little bit of community service and actually got to know the communities that they served in and they're supposed to be protecting, then perhaps they wouldn't be so fucking trigger happy.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I don't care what somebody's past was.
No.
I don't care. That doesn't give you any right to shoot somebody. I have a past, but if I get pulled over, do you think I'm going to get gunned down? And I don't want to hear no shit about he ran away, he grabbed the taser. All that shit has nothing to do with it. There was I wish I would have saved that. The same day that he was killed at that Wendy's parking lot, there was a white man in another state that did the same fucking thing, and they put his ass in jail. Yep. You couldn't have let him run. You had his information. Tow his car.
You had his information, number one. Number two, he's failed sobriety tests, and he's exhausted. He's only going to run, 10 feet, and then he's going to collapse.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Just wait him out.
Right. Worst comes to worst, you don't find him, you impound his car, and in order for him to get it back, he's got to pay, and then you've got his information.
There were so many other options.
There really were. And for the cops to afterwards...
call out.
The way that they handled it afterwards, I got him, and, not following the protocol. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
That just, it really makes me super nervous. It really does, because if they're willing to do that to somebody who they, okay, so did they know that he had all these priors before? No, you don't find that shit out until... you run a name and everything else. You just came upon some guy who was passed out drunk in the Wendy's drive-thru. Okay. Any other time that would have made the world's stupidest criminals video. Everybody would have had a good chuckle. and went on about their business
Right.
if he was white.
Yeah.
But because he was black,
Yep.
oh, he was obviously breaking the law. He was, there was no other what other option to do? No, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you racist. And I'm kind of a troll lately.
Lately?
Well, more now so than ever. I mean, I've always trolled, that fat orange turd, the Mango Mussolini. But my go-to question when I see people putting racist stuff like on ABC News or whatever, when I'm on Facebook or even on Twitter, my little go-to has been, I have a serious question for you. Can you drive with that pointy hat on? Or do you have to take it off? Can you see properly out of the eye holes? Or do you have to take it off while driving? And one lady was like, I hope I get jury duty. I was like, well, what if there's a Klan meeting that day? Will you be able to pick your little fancy suit up from the dry cleaner in time to make it to jury duty and your Klan meeting that night? So I've just been saying all kinds of shit like that. And yeah, I mean, I've just... Yeah. That's been my favorite thing to ask people lately.
I think I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah.
All right. So this message was the subject was racism will no longer be accepted for delivery. And this is from Carissa in Texas. And I believe Carissa sent us some other stuff. So thank you for writing it again, Carissa.
And I love Texas. It's just so fucking hot there.
It is so hot. Oh, good Lord.
So when I lived in Texas, I was there about a week, and there was a church up the street from us. Mm-hmm. And the little billboard thing, or whatever it's called outside, said, if you think Texas is hot, wait till you get to hell.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
I was dead. I was dead. And then I saw another one in Louisiana that said, stop, drop, and roll does not work in hell. And I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God. So Carissa says, I work as a receptionist for a small video editing company. The boss is the epitome of evil, a real piece of shit. She seems to really have it out for our delivery man, who is African American. We have a table in the lobby with a book where all packages going out are written down. The delivery man is supposed to come by, check the table, and pick up any packages that are there. Okay. The table is in front of a large window, and it's pretty obvious if there are any packages there. So he doesn't actually need to come in.
He can peek his head in the door and be like, no packages.
He doesn't even need to do that. He can look through the window.
Oh.
It's right there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, okay. One day the boss storms in and angrily asks, is the delivery guy coming in and getting the packages? And I say, yes, he is checking daily. And the boss screams, that isn't what I asked. Is he physically coming into the building? I said, well, no, if the table's empty. The boss storms off before I can even finish and gets on the phone and calls screaming at the poor customer service person. My boss gets so obsessive that she even starts checking the surveillance cameras to make sure he comes into the lobby and doesn't just open the door and peek in. She insists that he come all the way into the lobby, close the door behind him, stand at the table for a few seconds, and then leave. I'm getting more and more annoyed by this by the day. She calls almost daily to the company, screaming about this poor guy. One day, he calls me because he's running behind and asks if there are any packages. I tell him he's in luck. We don't have any that day. And the boss is out that day. The next day, he comes in and the boss is there to yell at him again. She has checked the surveillance tapes and he didn't even come at all. When he leaves, she comes to my desk and says that he had better just do his job. And I say, that these delivery guys only have so much time to deliver, and any place they can shave off a few seconds really helps them. And the boss says, I don't care. The only thing that N-word should say is, yes, Martha.
See, and right then, I would have been in jail because I'd have knocked the shit out of her and lost my job and been in jail.
Then she storms off to call and complain again. I am in too much shock, and shamefully, I said nothing. I found a new job within the next 3 days. I get a great job as a receptionist at a company a few miles down the road. There's a great PS to this. And who should walk in my first week there but the delivery guy with a trainee in tow. We greet each other like old friends. And the delivery guy says, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you here, away from that awful woman." And I said, "Oh, I am too. I'm so glad to see you. And I'm so sorry for the horrible way she treats you." And the delivery guy says, "I just don't know what her problem is." And I say, You don't? And he shakes his head quietly, and I quietly tell him, embarrassed as hell, "It's because you're black." He and the trainee both look shocked. And I said, "She would not have given you any trouble if you're white. She only called and made up ridiculous complaints because she hated you because of the color of your skin. She's a horrible racist. I can't even begin to tell you the horrible racist comments she would make when you left the building or after she would get off the phone with customer service complaining about you. I just couldn't stand to be there anymore. That's why I left." He shakes his head and leaves. The next week, he comes in without the trainee. And I say, "Hello again. Is your trainee on his own?" The delivery guy smiles and says, "That wasn't my trainee. That was my manager. You saved my job."
Oh my God.
And I said, "What? How? How did I save your job?" And the delivery guy says, "That crazy ex-boss of yours called and complained so much that when a normal and justified complaint came in, the company was going to fire me. The manager was going around with me to see exactly what I was doing wrong and if I was even going to have the chance to keep my job. After we left here and he heard what you said, he told me I was good and there would be no more talk about it. As a matter of fact, the delivery company called and canceled your ex-boss's contract and told her they would no longer deliver for or to her. She'll have to drive to the hub to get any packages that are meant
Or get a
that are
fucking
mailed
carrier
to her.
pigeon, bitch. Come on. Just
Get what you deserve.
Yeah, you do. You really do. And I feel like
You can't be an undercover racist for long.
No, you really can't. You really can't. Because at some point or another, your pointy hat is going to show. And I just can't. I mean,
You just can't deal.
I'm not a very friendly fucking person. And it has nothing to do with anybody's skin color or...
Right.
Nothing. Absolutely
You're just annoyed
nothing.
by humans.
I'm just annoyed by everything in general.
Yeah.
And that's just how I've always been since I can remember.
Right.
And that's so I have to like go out of my way to be nice to certain people sometimes, not based on their skin color or anything like that, but because, I just don't feel like getting in trouble at work. Because somebody asked me a question the other day and I said, "Hey, can you go into coaching for me?" And she was like, "Why?" And my first response was, "Because I fucking said so." But I was like, let me erase that because I really want to chat with you, So I have to, and it doesn't matter who you are. That's just how I am.
Right.
But you see some people that just go out of their way to just be
nasty,
rotten, awful fucking people. Like you make the Grinch fucking look like a fairy. Like you're a horrible fucking person.
Yep.
Somebody had the nerve on some Facebook group to call me racist one day, and I was just like,
moron.
I would love for you to tell that to my black ex-husband, my half-black children, my gay black brother, my Hispanic fucking nieces and nephews, my Vietnamese cousins, my Vietnamese aunt. So go ahead and okay, stupid.
Go ahead and let them know that I'm racist.
Yeah,
Like,
let them know. And then whenever they see, like, out of the 1,000 people I am friends with, probably 75% are not white.
Right.
On Facebook, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It's
so
painful.
it's one of my friends, Miss Deborah Avery, and her sons were real close, played ball and everything, and then she has a daughter the same age as Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And she's awesome. She has a daycare. It's called Edith's Haven. If you need a daycare in Colorado Springs, it's in her home. It's beautiful. She's like 5-star rated. She's fucking awesome. And Miss Deborah was just like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting justifying my color. Like, it's sickening. It's sickening, and I feel so bad, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm being like that person, with the side head,
confused.
Or feeling like everything's, pitiful, blah, 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 because she's one of the strongest women I've ever fucking met.
Right.
But
I remember there was, when I worked at a semiconductor plant before I got into call centers. I got the job right out of high school. I was there for almost 5 years. And it was very, like, I got the job because my dad worked there. But most of the people who worked there were all ex-Army, right? So older men. But one day we had this black man who got a job with us, and he was in his like early 20s. He was about my age, right? Well, he was working in a bay right next to me, and one of the lead specialists came over to the bay, and he asked where he was. And I said, because you were assigned a bay every week, and then you had to buddy up with the person in the bay next to you so they could watch your shit while you went to lunch. Right? So he says, where is he? I said, oh, he's on lunch. He'll be back in just a few minutes. And he's like, I thought he was supposed to be back at 5 or whatever time it was. And it was like 5:05. And I said, yeah, I'm sure he'll be back any second now. And he actually said out loud, well, I doubt he'll be back in any time soon. He's black. He knows he can get away with not actually working. And I was like, okay.
No, not actually working.
Now,
what?
I will admit I was young and I did not handle it the way that I should have handled it. The way I should have handled it was to go to our supervisor and say, this is what was said, and it made me highly uncomfortable, right?
Right.
Instead, once again, young, not experienced, I told the black guy, when he came back what he said, right?
Yeah.
Well, then my supervisor, who kind of had it out for me at this point already, like I was on my way out the door, like I knew it too. She pulled me into a room with JD, the guy who said it, right? And she was like, what did you tell so-and-so that JD said? Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it right in front of him. And it was like she thought that I would be like embarrassed, or I would have to admit, well, that's not really what he said.
Right.
I was like, okay. So I said, you said he's black. He can get away with not working. And she looked shocked. And then she looked over at him like, oh, she was like, it made it seem like I was telling the truth more. Right.
Yeah.
So then she's looking at him and he's like, nope. He's got his head down and he's just shaking his head, looking down. Nope.
Oh, no, you were proud to say that shit before. Hold your head up high.
Yeah.
Hold your head up high.
You were willing to say it when you didn't think you were going to get in trouble for it.
Well, we had an instance at my job. It was right after my head was like, yeah. So it was right after I had gotten my diagnosis and everything, right? So I was just like trying to maintain work and do all this other shit and go to all these doctor's appointments. So I was just like not on my A game, honestly. And everything in our building breaks all the time. Sometimes. And something was messed up. And I called one of the IT guys over. And I was like, this is, can you help me with this, blah, blah, blah. And he comes over and he looks at it, goes through everything and, goes through the motions. And he was like, so, hey, I think I got it fixed. And I was like, okay, well, everything's just duct taped in here anyways. And so we were kind of laughing. He was like, yeah, we just in-rig everything. And I'm kind of like, at this point, I'm typing away on my keyboard and I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. And then
you just stop.
About 20, 30 seconds goes by, he's gone. And I was like, what
did you just
the fuck
say
did
that
he just
out loud?
Say to me?
Oh my God.
So I was like, I go tell my boss, who is a black woman.
Yeah.
She was like, you need to go to HR. I was like, okay, went to HR. And then I was like, so, this is what he said. And she was like, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah. I mean, he just said it like he said, Tootsie Roll, like a candy bar, waffle.
Something innocuous.
Something oh yeah. I said, I'm just really
highly offended.
I'm really upset about this. I don't, how did he think in this day and age that sort of language is good to use? That it was okay to use at work, and of all fucking people in this building to say it to me.
Yeah.
How was that okay?
Yeah.
So they bring HR, me, his boss, and him in there. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, well, I didn't know that would offend you. Not, I'm sorry, nothing just...
Y'all should see my face right now.
Yeah, I was just like, well...
Oh, I thought you were a racist too. My bad.
Right. Oh,
that was his excuse, basically.
Yeah. Do I look like somebody who,
Oh, my God.
Come on.
In heaven.
Yeah, I was just... right after that, he was like, oh, but yeah, it was just... just sometimes people will say things... And I can't even say they're not thinking because honestly, I don't think that they are thinking, but it's so ingrained in them that it's just their sort of reaction,
Right.
And in this day and age, to be like that, I was just floored. I told my boss, I said, I feel like an asshole because I feel like I should have been like, hey, fuck you. What'd you say that for?
Yeah.
I feel like I should have cussed his ass out right then. I said, but I kind of have some shit going on right now.
A little bit.
And I was answering an email and then 20, 30 seconds later, I was like,
he walked away.
What did he just say? Wait a minute, what?
By the time you registered it, he was gone.
He was already gone, or else I would have dragged him into HR my goddamn self.
Right.
I said that just tells me that at that point it's not even ignorance. It's not even that's how I was raised or whatever.
Right.
It's in you. It's in you. It's a part of you, and you're never going to get rid of it. As far as and if you do, you're going to have some struggles because. And then from that point on, I was like, until he left, I was like, can you please tell him to stay away from me?
Yeah, keep his ass away.
He can stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, so this one, you'll like this. This is from Captain Fruit Basket.
Captain Fruit Basket. You know what it makes me think of?
From Georgia.
It makes me think of, on Friends when Phoebe got married and she changed her name to Princess Consuela. Banana hammock. Yeah. That should have been her husband's name, not crap bag.
There you go.
That should have been her husband's name.
So the subject is, that sure is some premium on racism.
Oh, Lord.
I work at a deli counter and I'm standing at the counter when two female customers walk up. The first one, African American, and the second one, white, get in line for service. Customer number one is the African American. And she says, hi, can I get a pound of the premium brand ham? And I say, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We don't actually carry that brand of product. We have this brand instead. And she says, oh, no, that's good. I only eat this brand. I guess I'll just go somewhere else. Thanks. And she leaves. I say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. She smiles, waves, and walks away. The second customer approaches. And she says, I'd like a half a pound of the premium roast beef of the same premium brand.
Right.
Right? And I say, I'm sorry, as I was just telling the other lady, we don't carry that brand of product. And customer said, the customer said, oh, so you really don't have any? You weren't just saying that? And I said, just saying that? No, ma'am, I wasn't just saying that. And the customer said, oh, I just assumed that you did have it, but you didn't sell the good stuff to, and then used a racial slur, which I'm not going to say. I stood there in shock at what that woman had just said. She's still absent-mindedly scanning the selection, not really paying attention to me.
Bitch, we don't have no meat. We're out.
Yep. Out of the corner of my eye, I see my manager snatch a piece of paper from our order tablet and grab a Sharpie. He scribbled something on it and then held it up to the woman and said, "You have a good day, ma'am." The paper said, "We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone." She was totally confused and immediately annoyed, demanding to know why. He said that his store would not be associated with racist pigs, even if they were just his customers.
Right. Good for him. Good. Yay.
Tip of the hat. Good job.
I can't. I don't get
ridiculous.
it. In this day and age, I mean.
Oh, you just weren't telling the black person that?
I just can't. Like, I don't understand it.
So
I
frustrating.
guess because, we're army brats.
Yes.
And honestly,
So we come from the land of diversity.
So you're in a foreign country sometimes, and I don't care if the person has a goddamn horn and they're hot pink with a tail. I know. You speak English? Oh my God, you're friends now. I mean, that's
Right.
the way that it is for
Right.
us. You don't have family. You don't have, because they're your family. The people on that base, the people you're stationed there with are your family. And it doesn't matter what fucking, there's some assholes that
Right.
were raised in like their grandma / aunt's kitchen, suckling on the teat of a goat or whatever the fuck they were doing as a child who joined the military, and they're still backwards asses. But
Yeah.
for the most part, like, when you're someplace, or even if you're just stationed stateside, and you see somebody, you just want to have Thanksgiving because I have no family here,
Absolutely.
I haven't met anybody yet.
It really is that,
you're
like,
just-
as an army brat.
Right. You're just happy to have somebody around that, has gone through some of the same experiences
That you
as
can be friends with.
That you can be friends with. You have something in common with them, So I just don't, maybe that's...
We just don't understand.
I just don't
It's just like
understand.
speaking a foreign language. to
I
me.
have never, like I said earlier, like my brother is half black. My kids are half black. My little brother is married to a Mexican lady. They have a daughter, or they have two daughters, one from a previous relationship who is Korean and Mexican. And then we have my niece who is half white, half Mexican. And then my older niece, she's married to this goofy ass dude. And so their kids are Mexican. They've got 4 kids. I mean, and my aunt is Vietnamese. My uncle married a Vietnamese woman back in the 70s. And they have kids, and they have kids, so I have a couple of cousins.
You're just
who
surrounded.
have, right,
in other
always have been between being in the military and then my family, immediate, extended, all that stuff. I just don't understand it, because the way I feel, it shouldn't matter anybody's skin color. It's so hard sometimes to find genuine people.
Absolutely.
And people who actually care about you. It shouldn't matter what the color of their skin is. It shouldn't matter what their sexual orientation is. None of that shit matters. What matters is that a good person?
Yeah.
Is that a good person? Avery brought home his girlfriend a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she's so cute. She's cute. She don't put up no shit either, because Avery's an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
But she don't put up none of his shit either.
Good.
Avery was like, yeah, you You don't care if she's white? I was like, I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit if she looks just like you. Like, I don't care, Avery. Why would I care?
She's white.
I don't care. I said, I'm white. Why do y'all keep forgetting that? I'm white. It doesn't matter to me. I said, is she nice? Is she a good person? And he was like, yeah.
Does she treat you good?
Does she treat you nice? He was like, yeah, she don't put up my shit, though. Well, good. That's what you need.
Then we're good.
I said, is she a decent human being? Like, she wouldn't kick a puppy or,
Right.
throw a cat down a well? Like, is she a good?
Yeah.
He was like, well, yeah. He said, that's all that fucking matters. She's a hard worker. She's a good girl. She keeps his ass in line. So that's all that matters. That's all that matters. You like her? Fuck it, I like her too.
There you
As
go.
long as you like her, I like her. But if she starts to treat you bad, guess what? The bitch will be on my list.
Thank you.
But I just don't care.
All right. So this one was titled The Homeless is about to make him jobless. You'll understand.
Oh dear.
You'll understand. And this is funny. I'm assuming this is an AKA, but who knows? This is from James Vanderbeek.
Is that the guy from the Dawson's Creek
Yes.
show? Yeah, okay. I never watched it, but that name just always stuck out to me. Vanderbeek.
Exactly. Our office building has a shared conference room that's open to any of the businesses in the building to use. We usually hold morning meetings in there, but today another company has reserved it. All of the employees of that company in the conference room happen to be either Indian or African American, and they're all dressed in business casual attire. One of my coworkers arrives and goes to the conference room, notices that it isn't our employees, and walks back over to me and comes into my office with a worried look on his face and says, "Hey man, did you notice that there are a bunch of homeless people in the conference room?"
Okay.
They're dressed in business casual attire, clearly having a meeting.
I mean, it was fancy day for homeless people, maybe. I don't know. Is it like, how stupid are you?
Oh my God. Did you know there's a bunch of homeless people? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Did you know there's an asshole looking at me? Like, that's...
Yeah.
Ugh.
This one I found to be truly just depressing.
Oh, Lord.
This is bad. This is from Edith from Manchester, England.
I like that name, Edith.
I do too. My 8-year, when I was little, I had a friend, and her and I and her stepfather went out to go shopping. She is white and Asian, and her stepfather is black. The cashier says, "Hey, thanks for shopping at blah, blah, blah." And the cashier sees my friend playing with an action figure. And the cashier says, like going out with your friend? Like saying like,
Yeah.
is your father your friend? And my friend says, yeah, he's my stepfather. And the cashier looks totally confused and says, really? And my friend says, yeah. And she looks at her stepfather and asks, can I get a lolly now? Obviously.
Right.
Like, stepfather says, sure, darling. The cashier said, could you stay here for just a sec? I need to check some stuff on your purchase. We all wait a few seconds while the cashier pushes a button. The manager comes along, and the manager says, what seems to be the problem? I didn't realize there was a problem.
Right.
The cashier says, this man seems to be with this little girl, and she says she's related to him. I think he's abducting her.
Because, the abductee is just like, hey, Dad.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
My friend's stepfather is horrified, and the manager looks closely at him. And the manager says, are you related to this child? The stepfather says, I'm her stepfather. Look, I can call her mother. And the cashier says, that won't be necessary. The cashier starts speaking into the radio and says, security, close the main doors.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, this gets bad. The manager says to the cashier, like the manager, the boss, says to the cashier, this is stupid. Just because a black person is with someone who isn't black doesn't mean it's criminal. Like, even the boss is looking at the cashier
you
like,
fucking moron who died and made you DHS.
right, thank you very much. But here's the thing. The cashier says, well, I've already pressed the 911 button, so they're on their way. And once you call 911...
You can't, oops, sorry, mistake, yeah.
Right. They're going to come and check on it anyway.
Oh my God.
The stepfather says, please, I haven't done anything wrong. She really is my stepdaughter. And he says to the manager, I swear I'm telling the truth. The manager says, I understand, sir. Says to the cashier, just call them off. And the cashier says, I called 911. Remember, I can't call them off. When the police arrived, they questioned my friend and her stepfather. The policeman asked my friends questions like the stepfather's first name, birthday, and their address. After a call comes that the information is checked out with my friend's mother at her home, the policeman looks at the manager. And the policeman says, well, this is accurate. She's 8 years old. A little kid wouldn't know a strange adult's date of birth.
Right.
Plus, we don't have any issues of missing children her age in the state. So I think that he hasn't done anything. The stepfather says to the cashier, I told you, you just have to go ahead and don't let anyone get a word out. Like, you just call 911. Right. The manager says to the cashier, I'll be seeing you in the back after you're done with your shift.
No, bitch, you are fired now.
Thank you.
You're fired now.
Even 12 years later, my friend has never gone back to the store, even though the cashier was fired.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't. That's traumatic.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Here's the thing. You're a little kid, and you know just what you've been exposed to.
Right.
I guarantee you, up until that point, it hadn't even really dawned on her that her and her stepfather don't look alike.
Right.
Like,
right.
It
because
honestly,
little kids don't think like that.
They're like, oh, you're the person that's loving me and caring for me and
right.
whatever. Like, that had to be just a traumatic thing. Like, and then to have to always worry that someday somebody's going to try to snatch me up and arrest my stepfather because we don't look like, that is a long-lasting trauma. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So
that is fucking horrifying. I remember
when the kids were little, and they were probably about 3 and 9, I would say. So it's been a while. We had a little bit of an emergency, and I had to send my little brother to pick my kids up from daycare.
Oh, I remember this.
And so my little brother, not racist at all. He's, as a matter of fact, he's very anti-government. Don't tread on me. You know, we're all sheep, that kind of shit. He's married to a Mexican lady. He's not racist at all.
Right.
But he looks
like he could be racist.
Like he's part of the Aryan Nation. He did, especially when he was younger.
Right.
Completely bald, tatted up, long goatee, wears like really dark lokes. Usually he has on like a pair of flip-flops, cut off Dickies, and a tank top. I mean, that's just him. But, you know, when you see him, and his tattoos are kind of scary looking, the ones that he has. So I called the daycare and I was like, hey, I know he's not on the list, but I need my little brother to pick the kids up. I have an emergency. I have nobody else to send them or to pick them up. He'll be there. This is his name and everything. You can ask him for his ID. And she was like, okay, no problem, you know, because my kids have been going to this daycare since they were 1.
Right.
So Roxanne was like, okay, no problem, you know. I said, okay. So around the time when I said for them to be picked up, I get a call from the daycare, and I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And she was like, I am so glad you told me who was picking them up. Because there is no way in the world I would have let your children go with him if you hadn't told me what he looked like and it was okay to ask for his ID. Because there was no way I was going to let your 2 half-black children go with this guy who looked like he's part of the Aryan Nation.
Yeah.
She said, whenever Sophia saw him, she was like, Uncle DJ!
Right.
And took off towards him, and Avery was like, hey, Uncle DJ, what's up? You know?
Yeah.
She said, But had I not known,
Right.
there's no way in hell I would have let them leave with your bride. There's no way. I was like, yeah, I told you, this is what he looks like.
I let you know what he looked like for a reason.
Because even him walking with my niece sometimes, they would get looks.
Yeah.
And it didn't help the fact that he drove this white van from the early 80s.
He drove a Chester the Molester van.
He did. And it got stolen several times.
Oh,
and
really?
The guy, yes. And then the guys at work thought it would be funny to he put a piece of plexiglass up in the window because they broke out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys at work thought it was cute to spray paint free candy on the side. So yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. So here he is walking around, and my niece she's super tan. She takes after her mom. My little brother's blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right.
And she didn't get any of that. She just
full on mom.
Full on mom. Yeah, she looks just like my sister-in-law. So whenever we would go places, sometimes he was like, "I know people think I just stole her. I know people are looking at us like." What the fuck is going on? Because he's very aware of how he looked, and he was very aware of how his child looked,
Right.
So he was just like, yeah, make sure you call me dad. I just...
Exactly.
Because there was just, because he would get looks sometimes.
Yeah.
He would get looks. And that's just...
It's just as...
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, but those are the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the last one, and then we have a crazy story that I ran into. It's not about racism, but I ran into it on Facebook. You probably saw it because I know Jessica posted it. Mm-hmm. Holy fuck. But we'll do this last one that we got. This is called Coffee Strong and Proud. This is from Jacob from Jacksonville. Hi, Jacob.
Hello.
All right. Customer number 1 slaps a dollar bill on the counter at the gas station that I'm working at. And he says, now I'm just going to say, I don't want to say these words. I'll just say racial slur. He slaps a $10 bill on the counter and said, "I'll have a pack of racial slur delights." And I say, "Excuse me?" And he says, and then throws out a different racial slur and says, racial slur specials. The cigarettes that only this group of people make. And I said, do you mean Camels? And he says, "That's what I said I wanted, isn't it?" And I said, "Not even close. You used several highly offensive racial slurs, but not once did you ask for a pack of cigarettes."
Right. Just.
And he says, "Whatever, just give me the fucking cigarettes." And I said, "Yeah, that's not happening. I'm exercising my right to refuse you service. The door is right over there. Have a nice day." He says, "You are fucking kidding me, right? What the fuck is your problem?" And I said, "It's simple, really. If someone is bothering our customers, I'm required to kick them out of the store. Your crude and abusive language is clearly bothering the customers in line behind you. So there you go. Goodbye." He says, it gets worse. He says, "What the fuck is wrong with you? What's wrong with calling a racial slur a racial slur? So what's wrong with calling an N-word an N-word?"
Oh my God.
Right? They're all fucking, he uses another racial slur. "And you're all a bunch of fucking bastards. You hear me? You're all..." At this point, the customer turns around to yell at the other people in line.
Jesus Christ.
Right? But he cuts off after he catches sight of the customer right behind him. Customer 2 is a black male that could accurately be described as, quote, terrifyingly enormous. So if you turned around and saw Avery.
Right.
Exactly. It should be noted that one of the slurs that customer number 1 has been using was aimed at black people. Customer number 1 says, "Whoa," holds up his hands and says, "I said sand." And used another racial slur that people have probably heard that begins with the word sand. And he says, whoa, I said sand slur. I don't have any problem with you. Right? Customer number 2, staring down at customer number 1, takes a step forward and just looks down at him and says, let me see if I've got this right. You're a real loudmouth, ignorant, bigoted asshole, but that shouldn't bother me because you don't have any problem with me specifically. And customer number 1 says, yes?
Yeah.
Like it's a question. Customer number 2 says, no. The nice man behind the counter asked you to leave the store. I suggest you do before I decide you need some help getting through the door. Customer number 1 immediately flees out the door, allowing customer number 2 to put his 4 coffees on the counter. Customer says, just the coffee, my friend. And I say, dude, the look on that guy's face was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. For that and for helping me out, your coffee's on me.
Right. Grab a donut too, sir.
Yeah, he's one of our regulars. The next day, I told my manager what happened. After reviewing the security tapes and laughing his ass off for about 20 minutes, she gave me a half a box of free coffee vouchers to give to customer number 2 when I saw him the next time. When I quit 2 years later, he still hadn't run out of free coffee vouchers.
Oh my God.
That's how many coffee vouchers she gave him.
God.
Like,
Would have
good
too. Like,
job.
you have unlimited coffee forever, sir.
You have free coffee for life.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Some people are just so, and like I said, you can't even in this day and age, you can't even blame it on ignorance. Now it's just so far ingrained into the kind of person you are.
Absolutely.
That there's just no turning back.
No. All right. So this story I came across, I'm pretty sure you probably saw it, but I saw it on Facebook, and I had a couple of our listeners actually send it because they were like, "Oh, this needs to be shamed."
Oh.
Like immediately. And I'm like, yeah, it should. All right, so here's the title of the article. I'm reading from 2fab.com, but this story was posted in a lot of places. Title of it, Wedding Videographer Horribly Mocks Client Whose Fiance Died in Car Crash, Refuses Refund.
I saw that.
You saw this?
Yes.
Okay. So, a wedding videographer has sparked online fury after refusing to refund a client whose fiance died, threatening a lawsuit, and openly mocking him during his time of grief. In February, Alexis Wyatt, 22, died in a car crash in Colorado Springs. Her fiancé, Justin Montney, 24, attempted to get back the $1,800 deposit the couple had given to Copper Stallion Media to film their wedding on May 23rd. So she died in February. They were supposed to get married in May. Mm-hmm. The company refused, saying that it was non-refundable, but Montney thought they could make an exception, considering the rather special circumstances. It's not like they broke up.
Right. He
or moved
away.
The wedding date. Like,
Right.
it's a little... Okay.
He didn't leave her for, the best man.
Thank you.
He died.
She died. She died.
Yeah.
So, and he says, considering the special circumstances and the fact they didn't render any services, I thought maybe they could make an exception. Get this. Montney also claimed that Copper Stallion Media said they could extend his service to his next wedding.
Oh my God.
Which Montney said, I found that to be a really fucking I added the fucking, but a very insensitive thing to say to me.
So,
okay, it gets worse. This is...
your fiance died, but hey, here's a voucher for some free video and photography.
For your next time you get married.
Get engaged. Do you still have the ring? Or do we, they might as well just ask that. Did you get the ring back?
Yeah. You should be good.
You should be
like, what the fuck? Yeah. All right. So, per CBS News, the company since deleted website, because they are pretty much, read, "We replied and expressed our sympathy and explained to him that our wedding contracts are non-refundable. He kept emailing to get a refund. We eventually stopped responding since the issue was moot." After months of not hearing from the company, Montney and Wyatt's family left negative reviews on The Knot and Yelp, which is well within their right.
Right.
Okay.
Like, I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, which Montney says prompted Copper Stallion Media to threaten a lawsuit for defamation. Of course they did.
I thought defamation was like something that's not true.
Exactly.
Like you spread rumors or you like slanderous or whatever.
At this point, Montney decided to take his story public, reaching out to KRDO. At first, I was just going to tell friends and family, but when he started to threaten Alexis's family with a lawsuit for basically their daughter dying, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to start telling people to spread the news. Copper Stallion Media retaliated by redirecting its website and Yelp page to a new website that they created called JustinMonty.com. Pete, stop. Accusing Montney of creating a smear campaign. The website's content has mostly been removed, per the outlet. He stated, now they wrote on here, he admits the contract was non-refundable, but said he should be given the money back due to the circumstances. Life's a bitch, Justin.
Oh my God.
It gets worse. When there was a tweet, somebody tweeted out like a picture of the couple, like tweeted out the saying, "I can't believe that you didn't give a refund," and said, "It's not our fault she can't drive."
Oh my God. Oh, that's so. What sort of black soul do you have that you are so worried about the however much it was for the services you were going to provide that now you've had to do all of this to
Do you know how hard George would have killed somebody for saying that to him?
Oh my God.
Okay, so it gets worse. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
The website reportedly said that Monty's non-refundable deposit was used to register JustinMonty.com. The website said he could have quietly filed a small claim to quote-unquote try to recoup the non-refundable deposit. Instead, he chose the internet to shake us down, the statement read. This website is registered with us for the next 2 years. Thanks to your non-refundable deposit, you support this website and domain. Welcome to the interwebs, you stupid shit. The videographer's company retaliation didn't stop there. On May 23rd, the day the couple were to be married, the company posted a photo of the pair with the caption, "Today would have been the day where we would have filmed Justin and Alexis's wedding." After what Justin pulled with the media stunt to try and shake us down for a refund, we hope you sob and cry all day for what would have been your wedding day.
These bitches.
Yeah. Now there is a little bit of a hold on, but then he also wrote, "We will," in all caps, "never refund Justin Monty, even with the online threats and harassment." The website continued, "If we knew he was going to shake us down, we would have charged a higher deposit." Twitter blew up, criticizing the heartless actions of Copper Mountain Media. Somebody posted, "We can all agree, fuck Copper Stallion Media. I don't know a single videographer with morals that would act like this." In another awful twist, a Twitter user captured a since deleted tweet by Copper Stallion Media, which appeared to suggest Monty's smear campaign was responsible for the recent suicide of one of its employees. He posted, "We are in contact with local authorities to see what can be done in terms of criminal charges. We are also reaching out to legal counsel to see what legal action we could take to obtain a judgment for damages. No company should have to go through this. Life's a bitch, isn't it?" But here's what's crazy. The followers raised doubt about the timing of the employee's death, posting a tweet by the company from December 2018 announcing her death.
So what? She was psychic?
They were trying to say, "Oh, this smear campaign that you put us through made one of our employees kill herself
Before it happened. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the videographer.
So then, not only are you using this man's deposit to smear him through a website that you're paying for with his deposit, but now you've dragged in an innocent person who killed themselves, probably because they worked for you and you're a bunch of fucking assholes, to try and gain like some sympathy or something, or try to have some sort of monetary gain for a suicide that happened before this whole situation took place. You stupid fucking people.
Now here's the last part of it. Meanwhile, the videographer who worked for Copper Stallion Media told ABC News 7 he left the company because he was not getting paid. When his final check appeared 3 months after he quit, Alex Murphy noticed the payment wasn't from Copper Stallion Media. It was from a company called Organized Weddings, LLC. The Las Vegas address of Organized Weddings, LLC is linked to a Jesse J. Clark, per the news outlet. So that's the name. Jesse J. Clark. In 2013, the Massachusetts Attorney General sued Clark for receiving payment from 90 couples and, quote, never delivering on their wedding videography.
So it's just a big scam. The whole thing.
Exactly. The whole thing is a scam.
The whole thing is a scam. So regardless of...
And now the spotlight's on you.
Right. So, and the way I feel now at this point is, had she not passed away, would they have actually provided the service? Because you're...
Honestly, it seems like probably not.
It seems like
It seems like that you're a scam to begin with. That's why he wouldn't give him a refund, because he wasn't going to do the service anyway.
Right.
Like it was a scam. He was running a racket.
Oh my God, some weasel ass fucking shit people.
The thing that makes me happy is the fact that this story has blown up.
Yeah.
And the fact that this person, like... it probably will make somebody sit up and take notice and be like, oh, we need to look closer at this motherfucker and what he's doing, because he's running a scam. Right.
A big ass Ponzi scheme. You figured
you could have kept your mouth shut and just given the money back.
Right. Because how much is the deposit? Like $300?
No, it was $1,800. It wasn't. But it was still.
Still, that's a lot of money for one. Two,
especially when you've got like a death like that you probably have expenses for. Like seriously, come on.
I mean, I'm sure that the other venues, like the venue, the place where they were going to have their honeymoon, the people who sold her dress or whatever, anything, flowers, all that stuff. I'm sure everyone that they came into contact with and explained the situation to was like,
oh my God,
here's
sure.
all of your money back, you know?
Absolutely. Or I can't give you all of it because we did. Now, if they said, okay, well, we ordered all the flowers,
right?
Which, you know, we have the shipping costs. We can resell those flowers, but would you be okay if we gave you a refund with everything minus the shipping costs?
Right.
That seems totally reasonable. But this videographer hadn't done dick. There wasn't any expense at all.
No. You didn't go and take pictures of anything, did you?
Right.
No. You didn't take a video of anything.
All right. So Jesse J. Clark, fuck off.
Fuck
and
you.
Die. Good Lord. So that was our back episode. So I'm glad thank you all for sharing the stories about the racist bullshit. It makes me sad, but at the same time, it makes me happy that there are people out there that are standing up and being like, no, this is bullshit.
Hey, if anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, I have to have 2 different Twitters now because I keep getting like kicked off of one and kicked off the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find me at Dolores Whipple or Dingoes Ate My Baby.
What the fuck? Why?
I don't know.
Dingoes Ate
My Baby is a little picture of Jesus peeking around the corner at you. Dolores Whipple is just my picture.
There you go.
I don't really have a lot of followers because I just had to make both of these up.
Right.
Not too long ago, I think, on Dolores Whipple. I have 46 followers, and on Dingoes Ate My Baby, I have like 8 followers. But I tweet a lot of shit, but
Yeah.
I just can't
It's
use
highly entertaining.
I can't use my Q as in cucumber one anymore because they
totally suspended it.
like suspended it. I
Yeah.
can't even get on there, and I keep getting like 12-hour suspensions. That's why I had to make Dingoes Ate My Baby, because Dolores keeps getting like 12 and 24-hour suspensions.
Oh my God.
And then Dingoes Ate My Baby got suspended once because I said I hope somebody coughs on you.
Yeah.
Again, so really, it's just stupid.
Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you all to all of the people that have been out protesting and
Yes.
supporting George Floyd and Breonna and Rayshard. Like,
And everyone who's been murdered by the fucking police
We
based
stand
on
with
the
you.
skin color.
we stand with you. We support you. Keep sharing those stories. We will share them, and we will shame these people. Send them. We will shame them. I don't give a fuck. Like, bring it on.
And if you're friends with Christina Moss, that's Christina with a C, Moss, like the shit that grows on a rock. You know, she's a racist too.
There
But
you
she's
go.
one of those undercover, I have black friends kind of racists.
Yeah. So, hopefully we can get together next week and I have a little deep dive prepared. I just didn't feel like doing it today, quite frankly. I felt like just sitting around and chit-chatting with you. So,
No problem.
all right. So until next time, I'm Laura Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
Like what you hear? Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. And follow us on our Facebook page by searching Q as in Cucumber. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching QAIC_Lara, LARA, and QAIC_Tanya, TANYA. Don't forget to check out our other show, hosted by me and Jessica James, called The Parent Memoirs. And we want to hear from you. Share your stories by emailing us at qasincucumber@yahoo.com, and you might just hear your stories on a future episode. Love your faces.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.